So today, stop wasting your energy on others, quite frankly. And I'm gonna, this video is not about not being nice to other people and helping them and being kind and all that kind of thing. It's not about that. It's about how much energy do we waste trying to control other people, trying to get them to be the way we think they should be, trying to, even with complete strangers. I mean, is it just me? Was that just me? Like, I'm laughing. I'm going to laugh all the way through this video because this is a video about me. This is a video for me that I'm making. So that's quite funny, isn't it? Because that is my thing. My thing that takes my attention away from creating the life I want to live and developing my business and just generally having joy is other people's behaviour. It's massive. Now, it's a lot less than it used to be. Please note that because I've been, working with this thriving woman approach for a while, I don't do it as much as I used to. Definitely not. And I see it often in a very different way. However, I do still get caught up sometimes in control and in being upset about other people's behaviour. And fundamentally, what I see about that for me, and hopefully it's helpful to you too, is that, behind it all is this idea that Claire's way of living life is right and everybody else's is wrong. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much the underpinning philosophy behind this thing. And now, that may be right. But do you know what? It kind of doesn't matter at all whether it's right, whether I'm right, whether I'm doing life in a particular way that's better than anybody else. I don't really think I am anymore so much. Well, today I don't. Some days I still do. It's not really about that. This video is really about the energy that gets lost in that pursuit. So the first significant part of my life when that was very, very prominent was with my ex-husband, poor thing, where I just wanted him, from the minute I met him, I would say, I wanted him to be different to how he was. I wanted him to be a different person. I wanted him to be, I just wanted him to be different to how he is, or how he was. I don't know how he is now, to be fair. It's nothing to do with me, but I wanted him to behave differently. I wanted him to be different. I wanted him to act differently. I wanted him to do the things I wanted him to do. I wanted him to do everything in the same way that I would do it. So, I mean, even if he did a job, if he didn't do it exactly Claire's way, then that was no good. That was no good. That was definitely no good. That was pretty much how I kind of lived my life. And when I look back now, obviously I didn't see it then because I just didn't see it then. I didn't see how exhausting it was for me, but now I can really see it. I can see how exhausting it was because it took so much energy. I've been listening to a book recently, Humankind it's called, and it talks about how much energy the brain takes. Like, our brain takes about 20% of our calories. But trust me, when I was in those modes where I thought somebody else needed to behave differently, it took a lot more than that. Probably taking about 50% of my energy, gobbling it all up. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I even notice this now actually, that if I get caught up in something to do with somebody else and how they should be behaving differently, I get really tired. Like, not tired as much as sort of lethargic. I just can't be bothered to do things. I can't be bothered to engage in my business as much. Don't seem to have as much kind of va-va-voom for life or for doing the things that I really want to do. It just takes me down a notch. I would say it lowers my mood is probably the best way to put it. I end up just feeling a bit meh. I love that word, don't you? Teenagers, thanks for that word. Don't know which generation. Probably the millennials. Did the millennials come up with meh? I think they did, because I think my children used to say it when they were teenagers, and well, they're Gen Z really, but I think they prefer to identify as millennials. Anyway, that word, I just would feel meh, and it was like having a leaky bucket of energy, and but I was the one putting the holes in it, and all this energy was just seeping out, because it would involve a lot of thinking. It would be, first of all, there's an identification, the judgment thought, they're wrong, they shouldn't be doing that, that's not the right way to do things. Then there's the why, oh my god, how much time do we spend whying? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that like that? Why are they not behaving the way I think they should behave? Why are they being like that? Kind of thing. That would be huge. That would take a lot of my time and energy, whying. And then it would be, well, what do I need to say to fix them? What can I do or say to get them to be different? What's my plan? What's the plotting and planning I need to do to make them different? And then perhaps there would be some action taken. Generally not very helpful. It generally didn't help. It generally was more like me throwing fuel on the fire, really. Exhausting, really exhausting. I'm going to go sit on a bench and finish this video. Yeah, it was very exhausting, throwing endless fuel on the fire. And of course, what happens then is the other person retaliates, usually. People don't like being controlled. Have you noticed that? And sometimes, it would be a person who I wouldn't even ever speak to. All of that process I've just described would be just happening inside my head, which would make my head very tired and very busy for long periods of time. And it never worked. It's like you're focusing energy. It's a bit like when we do this internally on ourselves. We can do this to ourselves as well, trying to control ourselves and control our feelings and control our thinking and control those things. What is actually happening is you're just pouring fuel onto the fire. I've had so many revelations around this, and relationship changes, I think, have been significant, even with people who previously I would have said, yes, I've got a bit of a difficult relationship with that person, where I remember one day I received this really horrible message from one particular person who had an ongoing history of sending awful messages to me and my fiance, and I felt the anger, the rage that I always felt when we got yet another quite unpleasant. And this is not about condoning other people's awful behaviour, by the way, but another awful message from this particular person, this particular woman. And in that moment, like just experiencing the rage in my body, and it almost sounded like there was a little voice in my head that said, you're not really in a fit state to reply to this message, because all my messages used to be about control. They would always be like, I'd spent ages trying to plot the right message that would get her to stop sending us messages. And it was all a mirror, because a lot of her messages were about controlling what happened in our household, and my messages back were about trying to control her, like watch out for the mirror. There's usually a mirror in all these things when we don't like other people's behaviour. And in that moment, the voice just said, don't answer right now. You're not in a fit state to answer this message. You're too upset. And I remember just putting my phone down and leaving it. And later on, it's so bizarre how when that passes, there's real clarity. Because later on, I read the message again and I just thought, it's not really, I can't even be bothered to think about that. It's not really relevant, is it? It's not important anymore. That person was just upset at the time, and there's no reply. Really started to see that there was mostly no reply to this person, because when they messaged us, of course, they were upset too. And, I often say it's like trying to argue with a drunk person, trying to convince somebody who's upset to think the way you think. Insane. If you've been on those nights out and you've got this one person who's had no dinner. This happened to me once, actually, when I was a teacher. when as assistant head we had a member of staff, she drank far too much. She hadn't anything to eat and she was really sick, and we just wanted to put her in a taxi and make her go home, and she was not having any of it. She was having far too good a time partying and didn't want to get in the taxi. So we had to just look after her until she ended up in A&E, actually. Not a good story, that. But anyway, so that's it. That's some step towards peace of mind when we realise that we can't control other people, and other people are doing what they're doing because that's what makes sense to them. Most people are providing us with a mirror in our life of how reactive we are being, or how we're behaving, and it takes so much energy. And I don't know about you, but I really want to focus my energy on my life and being creative and putting things like this out into the world, not thinking endlessly about other people and what they're up to. So that is, that's what the Thriving Woman approach is about. It's about seeing the direction in which our thinking goes and how much suffering that can cause for us. And, we're not right. Hard for me to say that because I do like to be right. but we're not. Our way of doing life is just our way of doing life that we've learned, and other people have exactly the same thing going on. They've learned a way of doing life that works for them. So, thank you so much for being here. Do explore more about the Thriving Woman approach if you're interested. Take care, lots of love, and hopefully you'll check out another video soon. Oh yeah, don't forget to do the subscribey thing and the likey thing and all that kind of thing. If you can. Okay, lots of love. Bye.